Morning. My name is Sudha and today I am here to teach you about excretion, the waste disposing unit. So before we start this lesson, we'll have a brief introduction about this lesson. Now, all living organisms need energy to perform various activities, and they obtain this energy by performing metabolic activities. And these metabolic activities are of two types, that is anabolism and catabolism. During anabolic activity, the body synthesizes body-building materials. And during catabolic activities, these synthesized materials are being broken down to produce energy. Now, whatever may be the process, either anabolic activity or catabolic activity, during these metabolic activities, a variety of substances are produced, products are produced. In these substances, some substances are useful, whereas some are harmful to the body. So these harmful substances have to be eliminated, removed from our body through a system called excretion or excretory system. Now, before we go with this excretion process, this harmful substances which has to be eliminated, removed from our body, needs a mechanism, needs a system to remove it, eliminate it from our body. In all living organisms, starting from unicellular to multicellular, they have their own mechanisms and organs and systems to do this work in elimination of waste materials. When it comes to excretion in human beings, we have a very highly developed, evolved, complex structural organization of excretory system to do this work. Now, before we start the excretion in human beings in detail, let us see the definition of excretion. What is the meaning of excretion? Excretion means removal of waste or eliminating waste from our body. If you see the word excretion, X means out, crenere means shift. That means shifting out, removing out from our body. Now, as we discussed in the starting that we have a variety of substances produced during metabolic activities. Some are useful. We'll keep it aside. What about the harmful substances? What are they? The harmful substances include urea, uric acid, ammonia, carbon dioxide, creatine, creatinine, salts, ions, etc., etc. So all these are harmful materials which disturb our normal functioning of our body. Among all these harmful materials, ammonia is the most poisonous waste which has to be eliminated from our body. So, to do this work, we have a separate system called excretory system. Now, let us go and discuss about the excretory system and the structure, functional unit of excretory system in detail. So, after a brief introduction of excretion, excretory organs and excretory products, let us start with the excretory system. Excretory system in human beings consists of a pair of bean-shaped structure called kidney, two tubes, a pair of tubes coming out from each kidney is ureter, and a bag or sac-like structure called bladder, and an opening for excreting the urine is called urethra. And above each kidney, we have a cap-like structure. We have a cap-like structure called adrenal gland, where this adrenal gland produces certain hormones which are very important for various metabolic activities. Now, if we see the structure of kidney, each kidney measures around 10 centimeters in length, 5 to 6 centimeters in breadth, and 4 centimeters in width. And we have a fissure or hilus entry point where the renal artery, oxygenated blood loaded with waste materials enters inside each kidney, and renal vein collects deoxygenated blood. And inside kidney we have around millions of tiny microscopic structure called nephrons, which are the filtering unit. And if we want to see the deeper and the neat visual of a kidney, we have to take a longitudinal section of kidney and we have to study them and observe them. In the longitudinal section of kidney, we have two distinct regions, the outer thick cortex region and the inner zone, pale zone called medulla, and a fissure for entry, a fissure is present here. Renal artery enters inside renal vein, collecting deoxygenated blood, and ureter opening out, coming out from the kidney. Now, in this excretory system, which is playing a very important role in eliminating the waste from our body, what is the structural and functional unit? The structural and functional unit of excretory system is nephron. It is considered as a structural and functional unit because it is the structural unit present in kidney, and it performs functioning like filtering the waste materials from the blood and eliminating them. So it is considered as a structural and functional unit. Now let us discuss about the structure of nephron. The structure of nephron is divided into two parts: Malpighian body and a renal tubule. Malpighian body consists of two parts: Bowman's cup and glomerulus. Bowman's cup is a blind, broader shaped ending in the nephron which accommodates glomerulus. Glomerulus develops from afferent arteriole and enters inside the cup and comes out of the cup as efferent arteriole. If you observe this afferent arteriole and efferent arteriole, the diameter of efferent arteriole is less than afferent. Because of this, there exists a pressure in the blood, upon the blood in the glomerulus, which is making the glomerulus to function as filtration unit, and it works as an ultrafiltration unit where almost all the waste materials are filtered out. Coming to the second part of the nephron structure, we have very important parts, three important parts, and in the three important parts we have the first part immediate to the Bowman's cup is the PCT. In short, we call it as PCT, and the full form of PCT is a first or proximal convoluted tubule, which is having foldings here, and this proximal convoluted tubule runs down and takes a U-shaped bend, and that U-shaped bend is called a loop of Henle, and the last part of renal tubule is called DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule. And this distal convoluted tubule opens into the nearing collecting tube. Collecting tube forms pyramids and calyces and opens with pelvic. Now, if we see the structure of nephron, it is the very important structural and functional unit of excretory system which works as a filtration unit. The renal artery loaded with waste materials enters into the nephron where all the waste materials are separated, and it will be sent out along with excess water, salts in the form of urine from our body. The next important topic what we are going to discuss is a mechanism of urine formation. So in the previous topic we have discussed about the structure of excretory system, structure of nephron, and how nephron work, what are the important parts in the nephron structure. Now let us go with the urine formation, mechanism of urine formation, which is very important. So this urine formation takes place in four important steps, that is glomerular filtration, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and the concentration of urine is adjusted. And here left side you can see the outline diagram of nephron here, where we can clearly observe where and how the urine is formed while going through the each and every part of the nephron structure. Now the first step is glomerular filtration. In the glomerular filtration, what actually takes place? So we already know that glomerulus is formed by the renal artery that is entering into the Bowman's cup. So this renal artery enters into the Bowman's cup as afferent arteriole and comes out of the Bowman's cup as efferent arteriole. So this efferent arteriole, which is coming out of the Bowman's cup glomerulus, is having less diameter when compared with afferent arteriole. So due to narrowness of the diameter, it exerts pressure on the glomerulus blood which is present in it. As a result, maximum substances that are present in the blood will be coming out, eliminated, comes out. So this makes the formation of a first filtrate, that is primary urine. So this primary urine composition is equal to the composition of blood except blood cells. Now the second step in the urine formation is the tubular reabsorption, which takes place near proximal convoluted tubule PCT, where the primary urine filtrate which is coming down the PCT here, because of the peritubular network what is surrounding the nephron, the peritubular network will absorb maximum useful substances like glucose, amino acids, fats, salts, etc. from the primary urine and takes them back into the blood. And then the urine which is coming down from the PCT will come down and near the loop of Henle. As we have a network of tubular capillaries, from the tubular capillaries, whatever substances that have been reabsorbed in excess near PCT will be returned back once again to the urine. So here we have excess salts and ions which were reabsorbed in the PCT excess will be given back into the blood once again. And then it takes a U-shaped bend and reaches the DCT, where even in the DCT maximum the urine concentration will be adjusted. And finally the DCT opens into a nearby collecting tube, small collecting tube, and this collecting tube at this place the role of a hormone, vasopressin, plays a very important role. So this vasopressin hormone will be produced, synthesized here, will be secreted here to adjust the concentration of urine, wherein it allows only concentrated urine to pass out. It will not allow dilute urine and more percentage of water to be eliminated from our body. So the concentration of urine will be adjusted in the presence of hormone vasopressin. And we have one dysfunction here. If the vasopressin hormone is not produced properly, what will happen? So patient or person will excrete more and more dilute urine. As a result, this condition leads to diabetes insipidus. Okay, that's the importance of vasopressin hormone. And next, all the collecting tubes of nephron, will be joined together and they open into a common tube called ureter. This ureter is a muscular tube. We have discussed already it in the structure of excretory system. So where this ureter, which is coming out of the kidney, will collect the urine and pass them down to the bag-like structure called urinary bladder. And the movement of urine in the ureter is peristaltic movement. Through peristaltic movement, the urine comes down the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder, it is a bag-like structure. Urinary bladder is a bag-like structure, where this bag-like structure temporarily stores the urine. And the bladder capacity is around 300 to 800 ml. Once the urine which is collected, which is formed in the nephron, will be collected and stored in the urinary bladder. And once the bladder is filling up, once the bladder is being filled up with the urine, the bladder opening, which is guarded by two circular muscles, will be closed. That means the exit will be closed till the bladder is filled up. Once the bladder is filled up, these circular muscles, sphincters, will be relaxed and through urethra, urine will be passed out from the body. Now, these two muscles, when the bladder is being filled up with the urine, the upper circular muscles will be both the muscles will be controlled by our brain. Where when the bladder is filling up, when the capacity is very near to the maximum, then this urine which is present in the bladder will exert pressure on the walls of the bladder. As a result, it triggers an automatic reflex action and relaxes the upper circular muscle. But still, the lower circular muscle opening near urethra is under the control of brain. That means Only when these two circular muscles are relaxed, urine will be excreted from bladder through urethra outside. So this control is possessed by adults, whereas this type of control capacity is absent in infants and young children. But later, as they grow up, they learn and they have this control of excretion of urine. Now next, all the urine which is formed in the bladder, which is ready to excrete from the bladder through urethra, we have the phenomenon called micturition. That is the phenomenon of excretion of urine is called micturition. Now, the urine which is coming out from the excretory system, what is the composition of urine? The composition of urine is 96% water, 2.5% organic substances, 1.5% inorganic substances, some amount of extra enzymes, hormones, drugs, etc. are eliminated from our body. So, this composition. And if you see the color of urine which is formed, the color of urine is amber color due to presence of urochrome. And the pH of urine which is excreted from our body is around 6.0. That is, it is acidic. But initially we excrete acidic pH of urine. But later when it is left like that, it turns into basic due to conversion of urea into ammonia. So therefore, urine which is formed by this mechanism in the 4 steps is very important in filtering, reabsorbing the useful materials, giving back the excess materials, adjusting the concentration of urine pH, and then finally waste which is in the form of urine will be eliminated from our body. Every day around 1.6 to 1.8 liters of urine every healthy human being will be releasing, excreting from their body.